What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBuild Solutions. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about why penny stocks and why do people, focus so much on penny stocks rather than, trading long term. I want to talk about and kind of introduce you guys to my group. It's TechBuild Solutions. The link is provided for you down below in the description. Right now, we're sitting a little bit over 8,800 members worldwide, and pretty much it's just a networking platform. We share best practices, we share our mistakes in effort to promote growth, and it's a wide band of individuals from experience and both, beginners, in effort just to help one another out. Right? It's a free networking group. The link is provided for you down below, and I'd love to be a part of your success if I can help you guys out any way that I can. Okay, jumping right into it. So what are penny stocks? Penny stocks are usually stocks that are valued at pink sheet stocks, right? Other way of looking at it is, stocks that are below $5. And the reason that they focus on a couple cents to $5, usually penny stocks are just very volatile market caps or just companies that see a huge fluctuation in percentage growth. And what that means is, let's say you have $1,000. With those $1,000, if you want to invest it into Verizon, let's say, at $50 per share, you'd have to see a $5 increase to see that 10% growth. And how realistic is it to see that, 50% or 10% increase within a short period of time? Well, it's not very realistic just because the price is pretty high, especially for that small account that you have. To be able to see an actual, reasonable profit is going to be throughout a long period of time. And realistically, with those, stocks that are Fortune 500 companies or more stable companies, you can definitely still make a profit off of it. And I trade them all the time, but it becomes more of like a swing trading. So instead of putting all my money in my savings account, I tend to invest it in companies that I tend to see, just steady growth in. So with that, that's great for that, and it's steady, just normal growth, and it beats the average rate of inflation, right? So that's great for that. But what about penny stocks? Why should I invest in penny stocks? Well, penny stocks are a lot more volatile, meaning that they are a lot more risky. But with risk comes reward as well if you know how to manage it and how to execute properly. And what I mean by that, there's something that we do with TechBuild Solutions is before we jump into penny stocks, we have a series of steps that we'd like or encourage our traders to take before jumping in, right? So it comes to simulation and paper trading. So before that, you actually need to learn how to trade. So we have a series of helpful videos that are provided within our YouTube channel, playlist helpful videos that pretty much breaks down kind of the basics and fundamentals of trading. And once you know how to trade, it's all about jumping into stocks that you see potential. And with these stocks that you see potential in, how is it that you make a profit off of it? But with those same $1,000 that you would usually see, with trading in or investing in Verizon, you'd see 10% growth probably within a year. And realistically, that's still pretty good growth. If you have a 401k and you see 10% growth a year, that's amazing. That's like a top tier brokerage company, that's a top tier 401k. But when it comes to paper trading, or when it comes to trading penny stocks, I average at 7 to 8% a day for growth. But again, it becomes I'm a lot more active. I understand the market, I think, a little bit better more than the average individual, and it's because we have these steps and these procedures that we take to be a little bit more involved with what's going on with the stocks that we're investing in. So I'm going to make it very simple for you guys, just to not complicate it. So the reason that I choose to invest in penny stocks is because of the value and because of the potential I can identify in it. When I see a stock, and I try to focus on stocks, above $1. The stocks that are below $1 are a little too risky for me. They move around too much, and it's harder for me to identify a good buy point. And I find myself stop lossing out more often than actually making a profit. And that's just with my own experience. So that's just what I've experienced. Doesn't mean that you guys will experience the same thing. But I tend to focus on stocks more from $1 to $10. And my account can definitely accommodate that. I usually risk $3,000 per trade. And let's just say $1,000. With the same $1,000 that usually would have taken me, 1 year to see that 10% profit at most with Verizon, with those same $1,000, I could have invested in, TOPS. TOPS was one that we traded last week on Friday, and when I shouted it out during our pre-market movers at $1.10, it ended up jumping up all the way to $1.50. With that, it saw nearly above 30% growth, and a lot of our traders were able to make huge amounts of money, and 30% growth within, I believe, 10 minutes. That's something that's unrealistic if you have a 401k. Does it mean that that's always going to happen? No, that was a very good trade. That was something that we prepared for, and we had the right plan for it. And those that jumped in had the proper education, the proper plan set up to be successful when it comes to trading those specific stocks. So the reason that I trade in penny stocks and I choose to involve myself in penny stocks is because of the potential that it offers. Obviously, with more potential and more potential for profit comes risk, right? And it all comes down to managing that risk and identifying that potential. So it comes down to having a plan. So every time that we trade is, we identify a good, buy point right above the support. We identify a good sell point right below the resistance. And we always have, a plan B, a stop loss, right? All the stocks that we choose are not always going to go up, and you have to understand that. So simply what we do is we set a stop loss. Personally, I set a stop loss. If I actually identified a support, I set a stop loss right below the support to minimize my loss at less than 1%. Usually if I'm trading a momentum stock, I cut my losses at 2.5%. And it's just these rules that I've came up with that have led to my success when it comes to trading penny stocks. It does not in no way mean that you have to do exactly what I'm doing, but I'm just sharing, again, my best practices and what's led to my success when it comes to trading. But again, the reason I choose to involve myself in penny stocks is because of the potential that it offers, especially for those that have, under a $50,000 account. It's just not very realistic to be able to make a living with, trading, Verizon, or trading huge stocks that are, $50 or above, just because they don't move, they don't fluctuate that often, or that much. With penny stocks, there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of volume, and there's a lot of margin for profit, and that's very easy to identify. So that is why I choose to invest in penny stocks. And I just wanted to make a video on why I choose to invest in penny stocks rather than completely involve myself with just swing trading or long-term trading, right? I definitely try to juggle both areas of the market, but in reality, I tend to see a way larger return when it comes to me involving myself in penny stocks, and I can do it within my own means of 2 hours a day, and I see a return that I'm more than happy with. And I've been able to create and kind of just live this type of life that it's not the only thing that I do, it's not my only source of income, but it's a steady source of income that, with this income alone, I believe I make more than 50 to 75% of, the United States based on just, these simple 2 hours a day on what I do. And it's amazing. I don't mean to discourage anyone. I don't mean to promote false hope, because I understand that it's very risky, right? But I think with, those that put in the work, put in the proper plan for success, are the ones that tend to see that success rate. And our group is just proven to have numerous of those individuals that are that 10% that succeed in the stock market because of the thousands, if not hundreds of dollars that we make every single day. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this movement that we've been able to provide for all of you, and kind of this spark an interest in trading penny stocks. So that's really just it. So thank you guys again so much for watching. If you guys have any video suggestions, please go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed this video or would like something more like this, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you guys can subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and let's make sure that we end this year on a green note. Take care, guys.